afternoon, sir. What's your name and date of birth, please?
Torres Bennett. Torres Bennett, 072797.
And Your Honor, I do have a probable cause challenge for this case.
All right, your office doesn't qualify, counsel.
Yes, Your Honor.
Sir, you've been picked up as a result of aggravated assault with firearm as a domestic violence situation, as well as battery, dating violence. Probable cause is a very low threshold. I do see that both of you were actually arrested. I am finding probable cause for today. That's not to say that a judge isn't going to revise that later, but for today's purposes, with it being a low threshold, I am finding the probable cause. Bond on count 1 will be set in the amount of $5,000. Count 2, the amount of $1,000. You're not to return to 6853 Alta Westgate, apartment 2210. You can go back one time with the assistance of law enforcement to obtain your personal items. You're not to have any contact with Yvonne Smith. No contact means no in-person contact, no third-party contact, no social media contact, no telephone contact, no contact whatsoever. Do you understand? Is that a yes?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Additionally, you're not to possess any weapons or firearms. Thank you, sir. Good afternoon. State your name and date of birth, please.
Good afternoon, Justin Melinda, 7/15/97.
Thank you. Sir, you've been picked up as a result of aggravated assault as well as battery domestic violence. Public defender is appointed. Court has reviewed the charging affidavit. I do find that there's sufficient probable cause. Bond to be set on count 1 in the amount of $2,500. Count 2, the amount of $100. You're not to return to 4430 Medallion Drive. You may go back one time with the assistance of law enforcement to obtain your personal items only. Additionally, you're not to have any contact with Star Padilla, and you're not to possess any weapons or firearms. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, Your
Thank
Honor.
you. Good afternoon, sir. State your name and date of birth, please.
Your name and date of birth.
Tony Andrew Redding, August 24th, 1958.
Thank you. Sir, you've been picked up as a result of aggravated assault with deadly weapon associated with domestic violence. Public defender is appointed. Court has reviewed the charging affidavit. I do find that there's sufficient probable cause. Bond in this matter will be set in the amount of $5,000. You're not to return to 1713 Needlewood. You're not to have any contact with Mary Lewis. You're not to possess any weapons or firearms. With regard to 22 CT 682, 21 CT 3486, 21 CT 3487, and 21 CT 7797, the court will be revoking your bond and setting all of those at 0.
Your Honor,
Ma'am?
may I have a one-time return with law enforcement?
To obtain personal items only.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, sir. State your name and date of birth, please.
Javon Smith. My date of birth is January the 15th, 2000.
Mr. Smith, public defender is appointed to represent you in this matter. Counsel, do you have a PC argument for this one or no?
I do not.
All right. Sir, you've been picked up as a result of aggravated assault with firearm, as a result of domestic violence, as well as battery, dating violence. The court has reviewed the charging affidavit. I do find that there's sufficient probable cause. Bond on count 1 will be set in the amount of $5,000. Count 2, the amount of $1,000. I'm sorry, $1,000, since I mumbled there. You are to maintain a separate residence from the victim, and you're not to possess any weapons or firearms. Additionally, you're not to have any contact with the victim. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Good afternoon. State your name and date of birth, please.
Jessica Joseph, 11/23/2000.
Thank you. Ms. Joseph, you've been picked up as a result of battery domestic violence. Public defender is appointed to represent you in this matter. The court has reviewed the affidavit. I do find that there's sufficient probable cause. You qualify for pretrial release, but this charge will require a bond. That bond will be $500. So it will be pretrial release with a bond. You're not to return to 3142 Landtree Place. You may go back one time with the assistance of law enforcement to obtain your personal items only. You're not to have any contact with Dion Fountain. Do you understand?
Yes, I understand, but I have children.
I'm sorry, I can't help you with that today.
Okay.
State your name and date of birth, please.
Arlise Casturi Carrero, 11188.
Thank you. Ma'am, you've been picked up as a result of battery domestic violence. Public defender is appointed to represent you in this matter. The court has reviewed the charging affidavit. I do find there's sufficient probable cause. You qualify for pretrial release. Given this charge, it will be pretrial release with a bond of $500. You're not to return to 5204 Sapling Sprout Drive. You may go back one time with the assistance of law enforcement to obtain your personal items. You're not to have any contact with John Stevens, and you're to maintain separate residences. Do you understand?
I have a question. Since my question was about kids also, because I don't have anybody and I don't have a job. He does. He gets almost $4,000 a month. I don't. I get about 500, almost 600 for child support, and I have no one to take care of the kids.
I'm not sure what you're asking me, ma'am.
I was gonna, the house is mine.
Well, you're not allowed to go back there until
If he
further order of the
leaves,
court.
can I go back?
Until further order of the courts.
Okay.
She can go back one time with the assistance of law enforcement. Good afternoon, sir. State your name and date of birth, please.
Oswald Rodriguez Gonzalez, 9684.
Thank you. Public defender is appointed in this matter. Sir, you were picked up as a result of battery domestic violence warrant. When the warrant was issued, probable cause was found. I have reviewed it. I do concur with the finding. This charge qualifies for pretrial release. It will be pretrial release with a bond of $500. You're not to go back to 2000 Bowen Drive. You may go back one time with the assistance of law enforcement. Yes?
I went to jail and got released. I got released 2 days before my bond hearing on this case. It got thrown out.
I'm not sure we're talking about the same case.
It was with my wife and Richard Ortiz.
I'm not going to discuss facts. I'm telling you, I'm looking at an arrest warrant that you were picked up on. So I'm going to finish the conditions. Not to return to 2000 Bowen Drive. You can go back one time with the assistance of law enforcement to obtain your personal items. You're not to have any contact with Maritza Ortiz. No contact means no in-person contact, no third-party contact, no social media contact, no telephone contact, no contact whatsoever. Do you understand? Additionally, you're not to possess or consume any alcohol or drugs, and you're to report for random urinalysis. Good afternoon, ma'am. State your name and date of birth, please.
Merida Toala, 7/12/1982.
Thank you. Ma'am, you've been picked up as a result of battery domestic violence. You do not qualify for the public defender based upon your application. The court has reviewed the affidavit. I do find that there's sufficient probable cause. You qualify for pretrial release. It will be pretrial release with a bond of $1,000. You are not to return to 2245 Silver Pine Place. You may go back one time with the assistance of law enforcement to obtain your personal items only. Are you listening?
Yes, ma'am.
Additionally, you're not to have any contact with Eric Toala. Do you understand?
Yes.
Thank you.
Can I ask a question?
You can.
Okay, so that is my home. He's not in the lease. It's my home with my son. I don't have anywhere else to go.
Well, you're not going back there right now. Sorry.
Okay.
Good afternoon, ma'am. State your name and date of birth, please.
Rochelle Adorno Morales, December 3rd, 1990.
Thank you. Public defender is appointed. And you've been picked up as a result of possession of MDMA and ecstasy. The court has reviewed the charging affidavit. I do find there's sufficient probable cause. You qualify for pretrial release, but the court will not be granting that. It'll be pretrial release with a bond. That bond is going to be in the amount of $1,000. You're not to possess or consume any alcohol or drugs, and you're to report for random urinalysis. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, sir. State your name and date of birth, please. Thank you. Sir, you've been picked up as a result of grand theft, third-degree motor vehicle, as well as possession of heroin. Do not have a public defender application. The court has reviewed the affidavit. I do find that there's sufficient probable cause. Bond on count 1 will be set in the amount of $1,000. Count 2, the amount of $1,000. With regard to 21 CF 13302 and 22 CF 4056, court will be revoking your bond in both those cases and setting it at 0. Thank you.
No bond for those two?
For those two, no, sir. No. He might not qualify now.
So, Your Honor, is he appointed? I'm sorry.
No, I didn't have an application for him.
Okay.
And he had 2 cases, Your Honor. What,
You had 2? Oh, I didn't mark one of them. Oh, because there's the same charges, almost. Grand theft and petty theft. Sorry, gentlemen. Mr. Armstrong, I apologize. I missed one of the other cases that you have, which is also grand theft, third-degree motor vehicle, and a petty theft. The court has reviewed the charging affidavit. I do find there's sufficient probable cause. Bond on count 1 will be set in the amount of $2,500, and bond on count 2 will be set in the amount of $100.
Your Honor, if I may, he has been appointed to us on the cases that he's out on bond
Right, but I
for.
don't have information about his current financial ability, so he needs to complete another application.
Yes, Your Honor.
Good afternoon, sir. State your name and date of birth, please.
Bradley Bryant, August 2nd, 1988.
Thank you. Public defender is appointed in this matter. Sir, you've been picked up as a result of possession of cannabis with intent to sell, deliver with a weapon, as well as possession of cannabis and carrying a concealed firearm. Court has reviewed the charging affidavit. I do find there's sufficient probable cause. Bond on count 1 be set in the amount of $15,000. Count 2, the amount of $1,000. Count 3, the amount of $1,000. Thank you. Good afternoon, sir. State your name and date of birth, please.
He can't hear. Do we have the headset?
All right, sir, can you hear me now?
Yes.
All right, state your name and date of birth, please.
Stephen Christopher Galloway, 6/22, 1965.
Does anybody know what happened to Jakeem Cleveland?
His behavior, Your Honor.
Oh,
Your Honor, we'd waive his appearance.
thank you. Public defender is appointed in that case. Mr. Galloway, if you'll give me just a moment, I'm going to handle another matter real quick, okay? He's picked up for possession of methamphetamine. Court has reviewed the charging affidavit. I do find there's sufficient probable cause. Bond to be set in the amount of $1,000. All right. Yes, he was behavior, but she waived his appearance. All right, Mr. Galloway. been picked up as a result of a failure to appear in 22 CF 2424. Looks like there are 3 counts in that particular case. Possession of cocaine, fentanyl, and cocaine with intent to sell or deliver. It was under case number 22 CF 2424. Each of those are set at 0, sir. So your judge will be notified that you're here so that they can get you set for hearing, okay? Afternoon, sir. State your name and date of birth, please.
Wayne Alonzo Graham Jr., birthday 10/3/84.
Thank you. Public defender is appointed. Sir, you've been picked up as a result of aggravated battery with a deadly weapon pursuant to an arrest warrant that was issued. At the time the arrest warrant was issued, probable cause was determined. This court has reviewed it. I do concur with that finding. Bond to be set in the amount of $9,500. You're not to return to 1460 Mercy Drive, apartment 19. I understand correctly, you live in 18, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, that's gonna pose a little bit of a problem with a 500 feet rule. You're not to go to 19 and you're not to have any contact with Kevin Hawthorne, do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
You're also not to possess any weapons or firearms, do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Additionally, with regard to 22 CF 7552 and 22 CF 9179, the court will be revoking your bond in both those cases and setting it at 0.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, sir. Good afternoon, sir. State your name and date of birth, please.
Prince Albert Hall, 2nd, February 7th, 1970.
Thank you. Sir, you've been picked up as a result of possession of methamphetamine, MDMA, as well as ecstasy, possession of cocaine, and possession of cannabis. The court has reviewed the charging affidavit. I do find there is sufficient probable cause. Counsel, I do not have a PD application. Bond on count 1 will be set in the amount of $1,000, count 2, $150, count 3, $100. With regard to 22 CF 8015, 22 CF 1157, and 22 CF 8003, your bond will be revoked in each of those cases and set at 0. Thank you. Good afternoon, sir. State your name and date of birth, please.
Alton James, 4/20/1980.
Thank you. Mr. James, you've been picked up as a result of an arrest warrant that this court issued. When I issued it, I found probable cause. The charges are battery with prior convictions, as well as damaging property as criminal mischief, $200 or under. Again, I found probable cause when I issued the warrant. Bond on count 1 will be set in the amount of $1,000. Count 2, the amount of $500. You're not to have any contact with Talandra Maxey, M-A-X-E-Y. No contact with Dianca Maxey, it's D-I-A-N-C-A, M-A-X-E-Y. And no return to 1007 Oz Court. It appears that you are out on bond for another case. The court will not be taking any action on that case.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Your Honor, I apologize. My computer froze. The last case, did you revoke all of his bonds?
Yes,
Okay, thank you.
not you. Good afternoon, sir. State your name and date of birth, please.
Alan Leitner, 03-2502.
Thank you. Sir, you've been picked up as a result of robbery, no firearm or weapon. The court has reviewed the charging affidavit. Actually, it's an arrest warrant. Probable cause was found during that arrest warrant issuance, and this court has reviewed it, and I do concur with the finding of probable cause for this charge. PD, you are appointed to represent him in this matter. Bond to be set in the amount of $2,500. You're not to return to 2724 Springfield. You're not to have any contact with Brandon Francois. You're not to possess any weapons or firearms. Looks like you're out on another charge dealing with similar issues. 22 CF 2223. Court will be revoking and setting at 0. Thank you. What's an Osceola case? Yeah. Because I'm in the same circuit, I can do it.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes, I know. I just thought you didn't know what
Hello.
We actually had that gentleman and us here. Not the one I just saw, but the big one.
Okay. I'm not sure. Your Honor?
Ma'am?
He would like the court to know that he was given conflict counsel on this case. I'm not sure
Okay.
if that court sees it, but he wanted to be sure the court was aware of that.
Okay. Do you want me to reset for when they're available?
No, ma'am, I would just like to just take care of whatever I think this is for FTA or whatever. I'm just trying to address the court on whatever the reason for them to give me a warrant, because I came here yesterday and then they said I had no bond on the charge, and I was thinking that it's over.
All right, well, give me just a second. I'm getting ready to tell you what you've been picked up on, okay?
No problem, ma'am. Thanks.
State your name and date of birth, please.
Antoine Owens, 7189.
Thank you. Mr. Owens, you've been picked up as a result of failure to appear in case number 21 CF 16054. The two charges in that case is grand theft, third degree of a motor vehicle, and fleeing or attempting to elude a law enforcement officer. Since you failed to appear, your trial court judge issued a capias setting each of those at 0. So your attorney will be advised that you're here, the court will be advised you're here, and then they'll set the hearings in the normal course, okay?
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, sir. Oh, you know what? That goes with that. I got separate. Yeah. Good afternoon. State your name and date of birth, please.
Allegra Phillips, 11/15/88.
Thank you. Sir, you've been picked up as a result of larceny, petty theft, second degree, with 2 or more prior convictions. Court has reviewed the charging affidavit. I do find there's sufficient probable cause. Counsel, I do not have a public defender application. Bond to be set on count 1 in the amount of $1,000. You're not to return to the ABC Liquors, and you're not to have, possess, or consume any alcohol or drugs. Okay? Thank you. Good afternoon. State your name and date of birth, please.
Doug Robinson, 11/2/1980.
What happened to Antony Ramos?
He bonded.
You bonded? Okay. All right, ma'am, you've been picked up as a result of a warrant for failure to appear. It's in case number 22 CF 2209. There's no bond on that, ma'am. They'll be notified that you're here and set your hearings in the normal course. Good afternoon, sir. State your name and date of birth, please.
Good afternoon. Leon David Rosas, 05/21/1997.
Thank you. Sir, you've been picked up as a result of possession of weapon by a violent felon, violent career criminal, possession of weapon or ammo by violent career criminal, larceny, grand theft of firearm, and evidence destroying, altering, destroying, conceal physical evidence. You do not have a public defender application. The court has reviewed the affidavit. I find there's sufficient probable cause. Bond on count 1 will be set in the amount of $10,000. Count 2, the amount of $10,000. Count 3, the amount of $2,500. Count 4, the amount of $2,500. You're not to possess any weapons or firearms. Thank you. No. Good afternoon, sir. State your name and date of birth, please.
Cedric Smith, 5/23/74.
Thank you, sir. Been picked up as a result of a warrant out of Orange County. It's in case 2017 CF 11323. The warrant is for failing to appear, and there's 0 bond on each of the 4 charges. Court will be notified that you're here, and they'll set your hearing in the normal course, okay? Good afternoon, sir. State your name and date of birth, please.
Abraham Wilson, August 22nd, 1976.
And Braxton Wilson bonded, Your Honor.
Okay, I'm like, I got the wrong Wilson in front of me. Public defender is appointed. Sir, you've been picked up as a result of possession of methamphetamine, MDMA, ecstasy. Court has reviewed the charging affidavit. I do find that there is sufficient probable cause. Bond to be set in the amount of $1,000.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Good afternoon. State your name and date of birth, please.
Tara Harrison, and my birthday is 8/3/91.
Thank you. Ms. Harrison, you've been picked up as a result of a warrant in case 22MM140. The bond on that is $2,000.
Okay.
Thank you.
I do got a quick question. I don't mean to interrupt, but I did 10 days down in Fort Lauderdale, and that was the recommended time to do for this charge right here.
You'll have to address it with your trial judge when you see them, okay?
Okay.
Thank you. Good afternoon. State your name and date of birth, please.
Marvin Williams, 5180.
Thank you. Mr. Williams, you've been picked up as a result of an arrest warrant that was issued for criminal mischief and resisting an officer without violence. I reviewed the warrant, issued it, finding probable cause. Bond to be set on count 1 in the amount of $1,000, count 2 the amount of $1,000. You're not to return to 1406 South Lee Avenue. You're not to have any hostile contact with Kimberly, and you're not to have any hostile contact with Brenda. So if you find that you are around them at a different location and you're getting aggravated, you need to remove yourself from the situation, because if law enforcement is called, you will be the one going back to jail. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, sir. Good afternoon. State your name and date of birth, please.
Tamisha Wyndham, February 1st, 2001.
Thank you. Public defender is appointed. Ma'am, you've been picked up as a result of a warrant for failure to appear in case 22MM2711. There's 0 bond on that. There's also another warrant in 2020 MM4743. There's a $2,000 bond on that one. Thank you.
The previous one had a bond, Your Honor.
Huh? Oh, I'm sorry. I said, yes, the first one has a $500 bond. The second one has a $2,000 bond. I apologize. Afternoon, sir. State your name and date of birth, please.
Jaleel Hall, 090499.
090499.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, sir. Been picked up as a result of no valid driver's license. Court has reviewed the charging affidavit. I do find there's sufficient probable cause. Bond to be set on that case in the amount of $500. Additionally, you've been picked up with regard to possession of cannabis and resisting officer without violence. Court has reviewed the charging affidavit. I do find there's sufficient probable cause. Bond to be set on count 1 in the amount of $500. Count 2, the amount of $500. With regard to 22 CF 2639, the court will not be taking any action. I don't have a public defender application on file. Thank you.
That mean I can blind out now?
Yes, ma'am. I'm sorry. Yes, sir. Good afternoon, sir. State your name and date of birth, please.
My name is Mark Rocker. I was born the 20th of December, 1951.
What happened to Marshall and Richard?
Marshall and also Richardson are PTR, Your Honor.
All right. Not what I would have done. All right, sir, you've been picked up with regard to a battery. Public defender is appointed to represent you in this matter. Court has reviewed the affidavit. I find there's sufficient probable cause. You qualify for pretrial release. This court will be ordering pretrial release with a bond of $500. You're not. I'm just wondering why someone's snickering. It's not working for me. You're not to have any contact with Tiffany Philman. No contact means no in-person contact, no third-party contact, no social media contact, no telephone contact, no contact whatsoever. Do you understand, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. And you're to maintain separate residences. Thank you.
Separate residence
Yeah, with PTR.
from her. Don't,
Separate residences.
yeah.
Good afternoon, sir. State your name and date of birth, please.
Clifford Isaiah Grant Sutton, January 27, 2002.
What happened with Mr. Burgess?
Charges is mental health, Your Honor.
Counsel?
We'd waive his appearance, Your Honor.
Thank you. You're provisionally appointed. He was picked up for indecent exposure of sexual organs. The court has reviewed the charging affidavit. I do find that there is sufficient probable cause. Bond to be set in the amount of $500. All right, now back to you, Mr. Grant Sutton. Been picked up as a result of trespass on property after warning. Public defender is appointed in this matter.
I'm sorry, Your Honor.
That's okay.
I was just grabbing some paperwork.
Are you guys doing anything with this one, or am I just going through the normal course?
No, Your Honor, I was told that he's currently on 3 months of probation,
Oh.
so.
All right, sir, you've been picked up as a result of trespass on property after warning. The court has reviewed the affidavit. I do find there is sufficient probable cause. Bond to be set in the amount of $500, and you are not to return to the Speedway. Thank you.
Sir.
Good afternoon, sir. State your name and date of birth, please.
August 4, 1982.
Your Honor, may I have just a moment?
Yes, ma'am.
Your Honor, we're ready.
Is it a plea?
Yes, but I accidentally had him sign the wrong one.
What are the terms?
The terms are an adjudication of guilt, credit for time served, and court costs. There's one right here.
273, right?
May I approach?
Yes, ma'am. All right. Sir, if you would, please raise your right hand to be sworn. You solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. You can lower your hand. What is the case number?
22
All right, sir, I'm holding a plea form in my hand, which appears to have your signature on it. Do you recognize it?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you read it?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you have enough time to speak with the attorney?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you satisfied with their services?
Yes, ma'am.
Is anyone forcing you to accept the state's offer today? Are you under the influence of any drugs or alcohol, including prescription drugs, that may affect your ability to understand the terms of the plea in which you're about to enter?
No, ma'am.
I just lost my spot. Is anyone forcing you to enter into this plea, sir?
No, ma'am.
I'm going to find that you are alert and intelligent, that you're entering into this plea freely and voluntarily, and the court will accept it. The terms of the plea are an adjudication of guilt, credit time served, and court costs of $273, as well as no return to 2024 Cabo San Lucas Drive. Sir, how long will you need to pay the $273?
Just give me 2 months.
How about 6?
That's 6 months.
All right, make sure you get that paid within 6 months. Do you have any questions? You have 30 days in which to appeal. If you need the services of an attorney, you can apply to the court. If you qualify, one will be appointed to you. Good luck to you, sir. Thank you. Good afternoon, sir. State your name and date of birth, please.
My name is Richard LaPosta, 03/20/1992, ma'am.
Thank you. HRSO, violent felon of special concern. Public defender is appointed. Sir, you've been picked up as a result of resisting officer without violence. The court has reviewed the charging affidavit. I do find there's sufficient probable cause. Bond to be set on that case in the amount of $500. You've also been picked up for probation violation, it looks like out of Lee County. There's no bond on that one. And then probation violation in 2015 CF 624. There's no bond on that one either. They'll be notified that you're here and ready when you're ready for pickup when you're ready.
Is it two violations or?
Yeah, I've got 2 different violations, sir.
I have one.
That's wrong. There's only one case. One BOP. Sorry, my bad. Every time I touch this, I'm afraid I'm gonna press a panic button.
More is behavior.
All right, we will be waiving appearance. Been picked up as a result of criminal mischief. Court has reviewed the affidavit. I find there's sufficient probable cause. Bond to be set in the amount of $500. Not to return to 1025 South Kirkman Road, number 95. Not to have any contact with Richard Gedeus, Gedeuss. Good afternoon, ma'am. State your name and date of birth, please.
Christina Sanseverino, 6/1985.
Thank you. Ma'am, you've been picked up on a warrant out of Seminole County. Case is 212681 CFA. There's no bond on that, ma'am. They'll be notified that you're here and ready for pickup. Good afternoon, sir. State your name and date of birth, please.
Jabarius Bush, 05/22/92.
Thank you. All right, Mr. Bush, this was a reset from yesterday because there was an indication that you had an attorney of David Bigney.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, he's not here. Are you comfortable moving forward without him?
Yes, I was aware that he's under 2 cases and not this case. It's a new case. So now I have the knowledge of that.
Okay. You've been picked up as a result of unlawful use of a 2-way communication device. That's pursuant to an arrest warrant that was issued where probable cause was found when the warrant was issued. I have reviewed the warrant. I do concur with the finding. Bond to be set in the amount of $2,500, and you're not to possess any alcohol or drugs.
Yes, ma'am.
You understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Your Honor, did he not qualify or there wasn't a PD?
I don't have an application.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Can I apply for one?
You can, they can give you one and you can fill it out.
Good afternoon, sir. State your name and date of birth, please.
Colin Miller, 04/15/2002.
Thank you. Mr. Miller, you've been picked up as a result of a violation of probation. There's no bond on that, sir. And counsel, I don't have an affidavit on that one either, or an application, I should say.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, sir. Good afternoon, sir. State your name and date of birth, please.
Michael Cintron.
What happened to Mr. Burton?
Ordinance behavior, Your Honor.
All right, I'll be waiving his appearance. DeCavius Janelle Burton was picked up for a violation of probation. There's 0 bond. Loitering and prowling, court has reviewed the affidavit. I find there's sufficient probable cause. Bond to be set in the amount of $250. He's not to return to 985 Berry Leaf Court. Court will not be taking any action on 22 CT 3866. Mr. Cintron, public defender is appointed to represent you. You've been picked up as a result of violation of probation. There's no bond on that. And then additionally, a grand theft, 3rd-degree motor vehicle, as well as possession of methamphetamine. Court has reviewed the charging affidavit. I do find that there's sufficient probable cause. Bond to be set on count one in the amount of $2,000, count two, the amount of $1,000. Thank you. Good afternoon, sir. State your name and date of birth, please.
It's Ornetto, 1985.
Thank you. Public defender is appointed. Sir, you've been picked up as a result of violation of probation in case 21 CF 4623. There's no bond on that, sir. Good afternoon, ma'am. State your name and date of birth, please. Thank you. Public defender is appointed. Ma'am, you've been picked up on a couple of matters. The first one is violation of probation in case 22 CF 2393. There's no bond on that one. Then the second case is fleeing and eluding police officers, reckless driving, leaving the scene of a crash with property damage, and grand theft third-degree motor vehicle. Court has reviewed the charging affidavit. I do find that there's sufficient probable cause. Bond on count one will be set in the amount of $1,000. Count two, $500. Count three, $500. Count four, $1,000. Thank you. 1,000. I didn't change the rest of them. I just gave her bond on the first one.
We need to talk to the trial judge.
All right, good afternoon, sir. State your name and date of birth, please.
Joshua Poole, 7/18/1985.
Thank you. Public defender is appointed. Sir, you've been picked up as a result of possession of tetrahydrocannabinols. Whew, that is a mouthful. Court has reviewed the charging affidavit. I do find that there's sufficient probable cause. Bond to be set in the amount of $1,000. Additionally, you've been picked up as a result of violation of probation from Lake County. There is zero bond on that charge, sir. Thank you. Good afternoon. State your name and date of birth, please.
Nehemiah Street, October 19th, 1997.
Thank you. Mr. Street, you've been picked up as a result of a violation of probation in 2020 CF 8254. There's no bond on that. And then there's possession of drug paraphernalia, possession of cannabis. Court has reviewed the charging affidavit. I do find there's sufficient probable cause. Bond to be set on count one in the amount of $500, count two, the amount of $100. It appears you're out on bond for 2020 CF 577. Court will be revoking that and setting it at zero. Thank you. Good afternoon, sir. State your name and date of birth, please.
Your name and date of birth.
January 20th, 1960.
19 what?
60, ma'am. I know they have 56 on there, but that's not my actual.
But your date of birth is really 61? Okay. 60. Thank you. You might want to have them verify that. Sir, you've been picked up as a result of violation of probation for case number 21 CF 9098. There is no bond on that. The trial judge will be informed that you're here and they'll set you for hearing in normal course, okay? What are the terms?
Adjudication of guilt, credit for time served, and court cost, Your Honor. Yes.
Yes. Thank you. I'm like, no, it's not. It's almost 3 o'clock. Good afternoon, sir. Raise your right hand to be sworn, please. Solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give to be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
I do.
Thank you. State your name and date of birth, please.
Jerry Belcher, 5/28/63.
Thank you. Mr. Belcher, I'm holding a plea form in my hand which appears to have your signature on it. Do you recognize it?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you read it?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you have enough time to speak with the attorney about it?
She told me that I was,
Well, don't tell me what she told you, okay?
no,
Did you have enough time to talk with her?
we didn't talk much.
Do you need more time to talk with her?
No. Yes,
You've-
I do.
You need more time? Okay. Counsel, just let me know when you're ready.
Your Honor, we're ready to proceed.
This was the one where they were making the PCR. Yeah, they didn't make it in the bond. Yes. 2 and 4. Both of them are 0. All right, Mr. Belcher, did you have enough time to speak with the attorney now?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you need any additional time to speak with her?
Pardon me?
Do you need any additional time to speak with her?
No, ma'am.
Are you comfortable with her services?
Yes, ma'am.
Is anyone forcing you to accept the plea extended by the state today?
No, ma'am.
Are you entering into this plea freely and voluntarily?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you under the influence of any drugs or alcohol,
No, ma'am.
including prescription drugs that might affect your ability to understand?
No, ma'am.
Based upon the court's review of the affidavit, I find there's sufficient factual basis to move forward. Sir, I'm going to find that you are alert and intelligent, that you're entering into this plea freely and voluntarily, and the court will accept it. The terms of the plea are an adjudication of guilt, credit time served, and court costs of $223. Mr. Belcher, how long do you think you need to pay the $223?
Well, I'm unemployed right now, but I'm doing side work, so probably a month and a half.
How about 6 months?
That's better.
Get you on your feet, and then that way you can go ahead and take care of this when you get on your feet, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
So make sure you get that paid within 6 months.
I sure will.
Do you have any questions?
No, ma'am.
You have 30 days in which to appeal. If you need the services of an attorney, you can apply to the court. If you qualify, one will be appointed to you. Good luck to you, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you have a case number on him? 1117. Okay.
The last one, Taylor refused, Your Honor.
I will be waiving his appearance. Do not have a public defender application. It's picked up for disorderly conduct. The court has reviewed the charging affidavit. I do find that there's sufficient probable cause. Bond to be set in the amount of $250. Does that take care of everybody today? Yes. All right. Court will be in recess until tomorrow morning. Good afternoon, sir. State your name and date of birth, please.
George Ami, 11462.
Thank you. Mr. Ami, you've been picked up as a result of arson of a dwelling as pursuant to an arrest warrant that was issued. Probable cause was found when the warrant was issued. I have reviewed it and I do concur with the finding. Your bond is going to be set in the amount of $5,000. You are not to return to 14417 Flow Road. If you have personal items there, you can go back one time with the assistance of law enforcement to obtain your personal items, and public defender is appointed to represent you in this matter. Thank you. Good afternoon, sir. State your name and date of birth, please.
Yeah, 691 Singleton, ma'am. Anton Singleton.
Thank you. Mr. Singleton, you've been picked up as a result of violation of probation. Sir, there's no bond on that. Thank you.
Your Honor, he also has the HRSO scanner.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. We're finished. We're just putting it on the record, counsel.
Okay, thank you, Your Honor.
Good afternoon, sir. State your name and date of birth, please.
Byron Smith, May 21, 2000.
Thank you. Mr. Smith, you've been picked up as a result of violation of probation. There's no bond on that, sir. Thank you.
Your Honor, may I have one moment with Mr. Stanley?
Yes, ma'am.
Your Honor, we are ready, and just for the court's knowledge, the state does have an offer for this case.
Are there any additional concerns about mental health?
I currently do not have any. I did quickly go over the plea form. He stated he understood what I was saying.
What is the offer from the state?
It's an adjudication of guilt, credit for time served, court costs, and no return to the scene.
Mr. Stanley, would you like to accept the state's offer today? Would you raise your right hand to be sworn? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give to be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Thank you. You can lower your hand. Is it 273? Sir, I'm holding a plea form in my hand which appears to have your signature on it. Do you recognize it?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you read it?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you have enough time to speak with the attorney about it? Are you satisfied with their services?
Yes, ma'am.
Is anyone forcing you to enter into this plea agreement today?
No,
Are you under the influence of any drugs or alcohol, including prescription drugs, that may affect your ability to understand the terms of the plea in which you're about to enter?
no, no.
Are you entering into this plea freely and voluntarily? Based upon the court's review of the arrest affidavit, I find there's sufficient factual basis to move forward. So I'm going to find that you are alert and intelligent, that you're entering into this plea freely and voluntarily, and the court will accept it. The terms of the plea are an adjudication of guilt, credit time served, and court costs of $273. Sir, would you be able to get that paid within 6 months?
I would just need a little bit of time unless I can convert it to community service hours because I started my community service hours at the Good Samaritan on East Main.
Well, I'm not going to convert it to community service.
Yeah, because I'm waiting for disability, ma'am. My hand got bitten by an alligator 2 months ago.
How much time do you need?
1 year, ma'am.
All right, the court will order that be paid within 1 year. Do you have any questions? You have 30 days in which to appeal. If you need the services of an attorney, you can apply to the court. If you qualify, one will be appointed to you. Good luck to you, sir. Oh, no, return to the scene, yes. I think I said that, I'm not sure. Good afternoon, sir. State your name and date of birth, please.
Marco Sullivan, May 3rd, 1985.
Thank you. Mr. Sullivan, you've been picked up as a result of battery, touch, or strike, as well as resisting officer obstructing without violence. The court has reviewed both of the charging affidavits, and I do find that there's sufficient probable cause. On the battery, touch, or strike, it was an arrest warrant, which I do concur with. Ma'am, if you would, please raise your right hand to be sworn. Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give to be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. State your name, please.
Artisha Wilson.
Ms. Wilson, as the victim in the battery case, you have the opportunity to address the court to discuss what it is you would like to see with regard to release restrictions. It is not a time to talk about what did or did not happen. It's just a time to talk about what you'd like to see with regards to his release. Please understand, however, though, I'm going to listen to what you say. I'm going to take that into consideration, but ultimately the decision is mine, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
What would you like me to know?
All of it was a lie. He didn't ever hit me. Is that what you're asking me? Or do I mean, we worked together at this job. I mean, it was, the lady didn't see what she seen.
Okay. Anything else you would like me to know?
I mean, we're not having no problems.
Okay. All right, as stated, the arrest warrant previously found probable cause. I've reviewed it and I concur. Mr. Sullivan, this is going to be $1,000 bond. You're not to return to 265 Port Augustine Circle. You can go back one time with the assistance of law enforcement to obtain your personal items. At this time, you're not to have any contact with the victim, Martisha Wilson. No contact means no in-person contact, no third-party contact, no social media contact, no telephone contact, no contact whatsoever. Not even if she contacts you. Do you understand, sir? Thank you. Additionally, you're not to possess any weapons or firearms. With regard to the resisting officer without violence, court has reviewed that affidavit. I do find there's sufficient probable cause. Bond to be set in the amount of $500, and public defender is appointed to represent you in both cases. Thank you. Thank you, ma'am. Have a good day. State your name and date of birth, please.
Tyra Stephanie, September 9th, 2000.
You might know what happened to Christopher Blue.
Your Honor, we'd waive his appearance.
All right, public defender is provisionally appointed. They have waived his appearance. It's been picked up as a result of selling or delivering of methamphetamine, MDMA, ecstasy. Court has reviewed the charging affidavit. I do find that there's sufficient probable cause. Bond to be set in the amount of $15,000. All right, ma'am, you've been picked up as a result of possession of cannabis. The court has reviewed the charging affidavit. I do find that there's sufficient probable cause. Public defender is appointed to represent you in this matter. Bond to be set in the amount of $500. Thank you. And then that's it for the move-ups. Yeah, we can do that. Is this Mr. Vega? Okay. Well, we gotta do it over here, right? Okay, well, hopefully that works then, since it won't work for Osceola.
Good afternoon, this is Dalia Romero, Spanish interpreter on the line, not sworn in yet, Your Honor.
Good afternoon, Ms. Romero. This is Judge Arendis. We currently have Orange County on with us because we're having technical difficulties with Osceola County. So we're gonna handle these and see what we can do from there. First case I have, actually, let me swear you in. Let me know when your right hand is raised, please.
Ready, Your Honor.
Solemnly swear or affirm that you'll faithfully translate from English to Spanish and Spanish to English to the best of your ability, so help you God.
Yes, I do, Dalia Romero, a certified Spanish interpreter for the record.
Thank you. First case is Francisco Vega, and he does have the headset on.
Thank you, I am connected.
Good afternoon, sir. State your name and date of birth, please.
Julio 14 del 2000. Francisco Junior Vega Robles.
Francisco Junior Vega Robles, 6/14/2000.
Sir, you've been picked up as a result of aggravated assault with weapon associated with domestic violence, aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, and battery domestic violence. The court has reviewed the charging affidavit. I do find there's sufficient probable cause. Bond to be set on count 1 in the amount of $5,000, count 2, $5,000, count 3, $1,000. You're not to return to 2227 Conway Road, apartment 1206. You can go back one time with the assistance of law enforcement to obtain your personal items only. You're not to possess any weapons or firearms. You're to have no contact with Naishali Ortiz or Ezekiel Camacho. Do you understand?
Correct.
Thank you. And I don't have an application for public defenders.
Yes, ma'am.
Provisionally appointed. Yes, ma'am. Mr. Mayor, the next case is Alexis Rodriguez Lopez.
Thank you, Your Honor.
I'll let you know when he has the headset on. All right, he has it on. Good afternoon, sir. State your name and date of birth, please.
Alexis Rodriguez Lopez, February 6, 1990.
Sir, you've been picked up as a result of trespass on property after warning. The court has reviewed the affidavit. I do find that there is sufficient probable cause. Bond to be set in the amount of $500, and you're not to return to the 7-Eleven.
Your Honor, may I be heard?
Yes, ma'am.
Your Honor, we would ask the court if they would consider either lowering the bond or ROR. The reason being, the state did give a credit time served offer on this, but because he speaks Spanish, I'm not able to relay that offer to him or go over the plea form.
That request will be denied.
Yes.
We can get him out. All right, but that's it for Spanish, for Orange, right? Ms. Romero, when we get Osceola back up, we'll give you a call.
Thank you so much, Your Honor.
Thank you. Courtroom video conference space. It says it's busy. I don't know why it would be busy. Hmm. Yeah, it says it's busy. Oh, I tried. Good afternoon, sir. State your name and date of birth, please.
Robert Fryback, 4/17/1985.
Appearance for defense.
Attorney Ronald Lejean representing Mr. Fryback.
Thank you. Mr. Fryback has been picked up as a result of violation of probation. Mr. Lejean, did you wish to be heard about something?
Yes, Your Honor. His violation and only violation is he was picked up on a new charge of alleged stalking. If I could hand this to the court. This is a copy of the no information filed by the State Attorney Jody Lanis in Osceola County, finding that the new charge is not suitable for prosecution. And we're requesting that he be given some type of bond, since the only condition of his violation is this charge that the state has said is unsuitable for prosecution or reinstatement, but I don't think we could do reinstatement today.
State, do you wish to be heard?
I'll leave it in the court's discretion, Your Honor. We did file a no information on the new law offense. I did verify on the violation of probation affidavit, and that is the only basis for the violation of probation.
So the difficulty is I don't have any information on how he ended up out on bond to begin with. I don't have any of that information before me.
Well,
And so I'm not willing to set aside a zero bond warrant if I don't have anything that I can reinstate or do anything with.
he was served with when he got arrested, he did not bond out
For which charge?
for any charge.
Okay, Mr.
So,
Lejean, I'm going
while-
to need you to be a little more specific.
He got arrested for the new charge.
The
While-
stalking.
Yes, and while he
Okay.
was in jail, he was served a warrant for the violation of probation based on the fact of the new arrest. So he's been in jail on, I guess, both charges since that time. He was on the 27th of September, just before the hurricanes. State found no information. It was released on that charge, and he was sent here to Orange County to have his first appearance.
All right, I'm not going to be able to do what you're asking me to do today. I do also note that he's HRSO. So you'll have to file a motion with Judge Navarro.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Good afternoon, sir. State your name and date of birth, please.
Gerard Pierre Lewis, 05/13/1995.
Appearance for defense.
Frederick Trable on behalf of Mr. Lewis, I'd ask the court to accept the or tennis notice of appearance. I'll have one filed in writing by the end of the day.
Okay. Sir, you've been picked up as a result of driving while license revoked as a habitual offender. Court does note that you have been designated a habitual traffic offender. Counsel, did you wish to be heard?
Your Honor, we just asked the court take, keep a bond, but take no action as to the bond that he's out on, Your Honor.
And why would I do that when it's another driving offense?
Judge, if I may, my client, I don't think really understood that being out on bond means you can't get arrested again, and that I think that he realizes now that if he were to drive again, that he would be here for weeks, if not months. His previous charges in front of Judge Blackman, I can file a motion to set bond there, Judge. It would take a week to get hearing time, and the court would be inclined to grant a bond at that time. I'd ask the court to save me the time, and I take no offense, and Mr. Pierre Lewis will realize that he cannot drive again, that if he gets caught driving, he'll be here until the end of the resolution of all of his cases, which would take weeks, if not months.
Well, counsel, I'm not going to be able to do that today.
I understand, Your Honor, but I had to ask.
So with regard to the charge that he's been picked up on today, the bond to be set in the amount of $2,500. As noted previously, he is designated a habitual traffic offender. So this court's not sure why he didn't understand he wasn't supposed to be driving when he's got prior driving charges that are pending as well. With that, 22 CF 11033 will be revoked and set at 0. Sir, your attorney will be filing a motion with your trial judge to see if he can get you a bond on that case. Okay? Thank you.
Your Honor, this was the only matter that I had before this court. With your permission, may I be excused?
Yes, but are you sure it's your only one? Because I thought I saw your name further down in another one. I might be wrong.
Not that I know of, but
I want to say
if they have family here with funds, I'll be happy to take them.
it was one of the resets. That one's Mr. Bigney. That one was whited out.
I think, I was on the reset page. Your Honor, with the courthouse being
Right, but what I'm saying is when I was reviewing the paperwork, I had some towards the back of the stack that I thought I saw this attorney's name on. Right, but when I got the packet, he was already moved up. All right, well, counsel, they seem to think that I might be incorrect,
Your
so.
Honor, I don't have, the courthouse being closed, I don't have any other hearings, so if you need me as a friend of the court, Your Honor, I will stay.
I don't need you as friend of the court, I just don't want to handle cases that you're supposed to be on.
Yeah, I know, it's always better to be in court not supposed to be there than the other way around.
All right, you're free to go, counsel.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, good afternoon, sir. State your name and date of birth, please.
Giovanni Da Silva, 1992, December 12, 1992.
Appearance for defense.
Yes, Your Honor. Lisa Figueroa on behalf of Mr. Da Silva.
All right, your client's been picked up as a result of trafficking marijuana, possession of marijuana over 20 grams, selling marijuana, Schedule 1, drug equipment possession, and smuggling marijuana, bringing Schedule 1 into state. Counsel, do you wish to be heard?
Yes, Your Honor. Just with respect to the bond, particularly on the trafficking, Mr. Da Silva's 29 years old, born and raised here in Kissimmee. Graduated at Gateway High School, got an associate's degree, no significant prior history. He has, I think, 7 years ago, a trespass. Never failed to appear, no flight risk. The issue here is the bond schedule. I looked at it, and currently the bond, we'd argue, is tantamount to no bond. I think it's set at $200,000 on that count. And the bond schedule, it shows a range of the weight of 25 pounds to 2,000 pounds, and it's only 25,000. With a firearm, it's 50,000. So we would just ask that the court set a bond more in accordance with the bond schedule in this case, given his lack of history and his cooperation with law enforcement.
State, do you wish to be heard?
Your Honor, the state's asking that the court keep the bond where it is based on the allegations in the police report. Based on the facts of this case, we do believe that the bond as ordered at this time is appropriate.
Anything further, Ms. Figueroa?
No, Your Honor, I mean, other than, unless the court wants to hear testimony, but I just think.
I won't be doing that today.
Right. So I would just say, given the bond schedule set in the administrative order and that those were some parameters, this isn't a co-defendant case, a wiretap case. This was simple possession, but because of the amount, I understand it's trafficking, but I think that 200,000 is just excessive, and therefore it's unconstitutional.
Well, you're more than welcome to file a motion with the trial court judge. This is definitely not just a simple possession case, given my reading of the affidavit. Bond on count 1 will be set in the amount of $200,000, count 2, $2,000, count 3, $15,000, count 4, $1,000, count 5, $2,000.
All right, thank you, Judge. That's all I have.
Thank you. You want to try again? All right, we're gonna go to courtroom video conference space. And it still says it's busy. That means there's something wrong on our end. Your last name? We got, oh, maybe, oh, what? Maybe, oh no, it's a WebEx directory. That's the one I pressed. Did you have to have it over there too? Oops, sorry, that's the duty phone. Judge Arendis. Hi, Judge Arendis. This is Cindy at the Comp Center. Yes, ma'am. All right, I'll go get it and look at it. I've got to leave the bench to do so. Thank you. You too. All right, court's going to be in recess for a few minutes. I have to go deal with 2 emergency warrants.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. This is Ricardo Morales, Spanish interpreter. I have been previously sworn.
Good afternoon, it's Judge Jan Savich. I'm doing jail arraignment, I'm not jail arraignments, first appearances. Can you help us with that?
Yes, Your Honor.
Great, thank you. We have Mr. Robert Villa Orozco. Can you ask him if he can hear you, please?
¿Puede escucharme, señor Orozco? Yes.
And for the interpreter, it's 22 CF 2845.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay, Mr. Villa Orozco, you were arrested for robbery and aggravated battery domestic.
Señor Orozco, usted fue puesto a arresto por robo y agresión física de carácter doméstico.
I've read the affidavit and there is probable cause.
Leí el affidavit y determino que hay suficiente indicio de criminalidad.
I'm going to ask the pretrial release officer who is here for any history that comes up under your name.
Voy a pedirle al oficial que se encuentre aquí presente para que recite un historial si aplica en su caso.
PTR?
Yes, Your Honor. He was charged with a driving without valid driver's license in January of this year out of Orange County. It was dropped. He currently has a ICE hold at the jail.
Su señoría, el acusado fue enfrenta un cargo de no tener licencia de conducir válida, expedido en enero 22 en el condado de Orange.
And he has an ICE hold,
Y tiene una detención,
according to what PTR just said.
de acuerdo con lo que ha dicho el oficial en este momento.
Bond in count one will be set at $2,000.
La fianza se fijará en $2,000.
Bond in count two will be set at $2,500.
Por la acusación número 2, la fianza se fija en $2,500.
You may not have any contact with the listed victim.
No puede tener ningún tipo de contacto con la presunta víctima.
You may not return to her address.
No puede regresar a su dirección domiciliaria.
You may not possess any weapons or firearms.
Y no puede poseer ningún arma o arma de fuego.
Do you need a public defender?
Usted requiere un abogado de oficio. I don't have one.
Do you want me to appoint a lawyer to represent you?
¿Quiere que yo le designe un abogado para que le represente? Yes.
Public defender's office will be provisionally appointed.
Se designará provisionalmente a la Oficina de Defensores Públicos.
Your next court date will be on demand.
Su próxima fecha de audiencia será por demanda.
That means they don't have it scheduled yet, but they'll let you know.
Significa que aún no está programada, pero le dejarán saber.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'll ask the public defender, is there anybody else there who needs an interpreter? Okay, I didn't have that one on my list for Spanish, but I'll go over to it. All right, George Perez Hernandez, or Jorge Perez, 22 MM 2219, 22 CF 2844, and 22 MM 2220. If the interpreter can ask Mr. Perez if he can hear him.
¿Puede escucharme, señor Pérez? Yes.
Thank you. Can you please say your name?
¿Podría indicar, por favor, su nombre? Jorge Pérez.
Mr. Perez, you were arrested. There are 3 booking reports, so 3 arrest reports.
Señor Pérez, usted fue bajo arresto por 3 reportes, o sea, 3 reportes de arresto.
The first one is a petty theft from Walmart
El primero es por un hurto de menor cuantía en un Walmart
yesterday.
el día de ayer.
The second one is possession of a controlled substance without a prescription.
El segundo es posesión de una sustancia regulada sin tener una prescripción,
Related to a search incident to the arrest from the alleged theft at Walmart.
relacionado con un cateo incidental al hurto llevado a cabo en Walmart.
And then the third one is possession of paraphernalia also related to the incident and the arrest at Walmart.
El tercer cargo es posesión de adminículos de la droga, también relacionado con el incidente en Walmart.
I read the affidavits and I find probable cause.
He leído el affidavit y determino que hay suficiente indicio de criminalidad.
Let me ask pretrial release of the history.
Permítame preguntar al oficial de libertad provisional por el historial.
Yes, Your Honor. In March of 2019, he was charged with failure to appear for a traffic incident without a driver's license.
Hold on, let the interpreter translate. Thanks.
Para marzo del 2019 se expidió una orden por incomparecencia y un asunto relacionado a tráfico.
In November of 2019, he was charged with drug paraphernalia that was dropped and false ID.
En noviembre del 2019 también fue acusado por tener posesión de adminículos de la droga y identificación falsa.
In January of this year, he was charged with false information to a pawn broker ×2 and dealing within stolen property.
En enero de 2022 fue acusado por estafar a una casa de empeño. Counsel, can you repeat the last one?
Dealing in stolen property.
Y canjear artículos robados.
He was placed on pretrial diversion for that for 12 months on July 22nd of this year.
Por esa razón fue colocado en el programa de desvío en julio de 2022.
He did sign the contract in August 17th of this year.
Y firmó contrato en agosto 17 de este año.
That's all, Your Honor.
Y eso es todo, señoría.
Bond in the first case, which is the theft, will be stayed at $500, no return to any Walmart.
Por la primera acusación se fija la fianza en $500 y no puede regresar a Walmart.
The possession of the controlled substance will be $2,500.
La segunda acusación por posesión de sustancias reguladas se fija la fianza en $2,500.
With an order to not possess or consume any illegal substances.
Con una orden de no consumir o tener ningún tipo de sustancia ilícita.
And in the paraphernalia bond will be set at $100.
Y por la acusación de artículos de la droga se fija la fianza en $100.
For the record, the risk assessment indicates he does not qualify for PTR supervision. That's why the court didn't consider it.
Y para que consten actas, el acusado no cualifica para el programa de riesgo de libertad provisional y es por eso que no se ofreció en este momento.
Do you need a public defender, sir?
¿Usted requiere el servicio de un abogado de oficio, señor? Yes.
PD will be provisionally appointed.
Se designará a uno provisionalmente.
Court dates for the misdemeanors will be, everything's on demand? Okay, they're all on demand.
Las próximas fechas de audiencia estarán en demanda.
That means they'll let you know.
Significa que harán saber.
Thank you. Thanks to the interpreter.
Thank you, Your Honor. Have a great day.
You too. Matthew Singh. Good afternoon, sir. Please say your name. Thank you. Mr. Singh, you have 6 count warrant out of Orange County. On those, your bonds total $160,350. If you are not able to post the bond or the 10% of the bond, Orange County will come and get you. We'll get you transferred over to the Orange County Jail down on 33rd. Do you need a public defender? PD will be appointed provisionally. I don't have Orange County court dates, so I'm not sure what your next date will be, but they'll tell you once you get over there, okay? Thank you. Primo Harris. No problem. If they need him to stay back there, I can just say it from... All right, thanks. Good afternoon, sir. Please say your name. Thank you. Mr. Harris, you were arrested on 7 different warrants out of Seminole County. Looks like they're all violations of probation, and it looks like the judge who issued those set all of the bonds at 0. So you're not able to bond. We'll let Seminole know we have you, and they'll come and pick you up, okay? Yes. Hopefully really soon, but I don't know the exact time. All right? You're welcome. Good luck. Next case, Jessica Ricks. Good afternoon. Please say your name.
Jessica Ricks.
Thank you. Ms. Ricks, you were arrested on a warrant for violation of probation. Your bond is set at 0. Do you need a public defender?
No, yes, ma'am.
So yes or no?
Yes.
Okay, that's all right. I just want to make sure I understand your...
I'm very upset because my son died yesterday.
I'm very, very sorry.
The police came to the house and found me.
I'm very, very sorry to hear that, but this warrant has been active since July of 2018.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Public Defender's Office will be appointed provisionally. Next court date will be?
Pio Raymond, October 13th, 8:05 a.m., Quorum 4A.
Thank you.
I didn't hear that.
Oh, I'll have her say it again.
VOP arraignment, October 13th, 8:05 a.m., courtroom 4A.
So you'll be in front of Judge Sanders next week.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Kiana Eli? Good afternoon, please say your name. Ely, sorry, Miss Ely. You were arrested for domestic violence, battery, and violation of an injunction, a domestic injunction. I've read the affidavit and there is probable cause. PTR?
Your Honor, she has no prior history. She does qualify for a bond with PTR. We did speak with the victim who stated.
Also in jail?
Huh?
Who's also in jail?
Yeah, who's also there. Does not want contact.
Bond in count 1 will be set at $1,500. Bond in count 2 will be $1,500 with pretrial release supervision. No contact with victim, no return to the address. I believe if I read this correctly, it was his address, that they are now no longer living together, and this is his address. So she may not return there. She may not possess any weapons or firearms. Do you need a public defender, ma'am?
Yes.
PD will be appointed provisionally. Next court date?
On demand.
On demand, thank you. And then the other part of this situation, Kendall Hamilton, 22 MM2216. Good afternoon, sir. Please say your name. Thank you. You were arrested, sir, for domestic violence battery. I've read the affidavit and there is probable cause. PTR, any history?
Your Honor, in December of 2016 through August 2017, he was charged with battery, domestic violence, criminal mischief, carrying of a concealed weapon. All were dropped. Possession of marijuana, which was found guilty.
And he qualifies for PTR with bond.
Yes, Your Honor.
Bond will be set at $1,500 with pretrial release supervision, no contact with the victim, no weapons or firearms, and maintain the separate residences. Do you need a public defender, Mr. Hamilton?
Yes.
PD will be appointed. Now, if both of you stay with the public defender, one of you will end up getting probably regional conflict counsel. That's just another court-appointed attorney, because the same public defender's office can't represent both of you. That's a conflict. So if one of you sees that coming up, don't get freaked out. That's just what it means. It's still a court-appointed lawyer, but it's a private lawyer appointed by the court, okay? And your next court date will be on demand. Thank you. Clifford Harris. Good afternoon, please say your name. Thank you. Mr. Harris, you were arrested for trespass on an occupied structure or conveyance. I've read the affidavit and there is probable cause. PTR, any history?
Yes, Your Honor. From 2005 to 2012, he was charged with 5 counts of violation of injunctions and driving without a valid driver's license. Most recently, in 2018, he was charged with trespassing. He was found guilty. He did serve 1 day. He does qualify for direct PTR at this time.
Bond will be stayed at $500 with pretrial release, no return to the resort. Do you need a public defender, Mr. Harris?
Yes.
I'm sorry, you said it so quickly and you said it so low, I didn't hear anything you said. PD will be provisionally appointed, sir. Your next court date will be? On demand. On demand. Thank you. Thank you, sir. We're done. You can have a seat. Okay. I still didn't understand that, but thank you. Samuel Harvey. Good afternoon, sir. Please say your name. Thank you. Mr. Harvey, you were arrested for domestic violence battery. I read the affidavit and there is probable cause. PTR?
Yes, Your Honor. From 2013 through 2016, he has been charged with battery, domestic violence, aggravated battery on a pregnant woman, and DUI The dispositions are unknown. In 2018, he was charged with a failure to appear for a criminal traffic violation. He did serve 30 days, credit for time served. He does at this time qualify for a bond with PTR.
Bond will be set at $2,500 with pretrial release. No contact with Mr. Harvey Sr. and no return to the incident, to the scene of the incident, which is, I believe, 708 Ginwright. 709, I'm sorry. It says 708 here, but you can't go back to your parents' house.
Would I be able to just get my belongings though?
Sure, I can give you a one-time assist order to go back and get your personal stuff. You just have to go with law enforcement, but they'll accompany you. Do you need a public defender, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Public defender is provisionally appointed and no weapons or firearms. That's just a standard condition on a DB battery. Next court date will be on demand. Thank you. You're welcome. Simone Modica. Good afternoon. Please say your name. Thank you. You were arrested for possession of a controlled substance without a prescription, possession of paraphernalia, and trespass of an occupied structure or conveyance. There is probable cause. PTR?
Yes, Your Honor. In June of 2020, he was charged with battery, which was dropped in October of 2021. He was also charged with battery, which was dropped in November of 2021. He was charged with battery, which was dropped. In April of 2022, he was charged with battery, which was dropped. And in September of this year, September 2nd, he was charged with trespassing. That was dropped. All charges were out of Osceola. He does qualify for direct PTR, the charges.
Bond in count 1 will be stayed at 2,500. Count 2 will be 100. Count 3 will be 100. And you may not return to 2501 Old Vineland Road, which is known as the Kissimmee Shopping Center. Do you need a public defender? PD will be appointed provisionally. Your next court date will be on demand. Yes? I'm not inclined to direct PTR you at this time. You can have your public defender file a motion and have it heard before the judge who's going to be hearing the case. Thank you. Giovanna Sanchez. Good afternoon. Please say your name.
Giovanna Sanchez.
Ms. Sanchez, you were arrested for domestic violence battery. I read this affidavit and there is probable cause. PTR, any history?
In December of 2020, she was charged with carrying a concealed weapon, which was dropped out of Orange County, and grand theft auto, which was dropped. Her current charges do qualify for a bond with PTR. We did reach out to the victim, who did state that they would like to have contact with her.
Bond is set at $1,000 plus pretrial release supervision, no contact with the victim. Because this is Ms. Sanchez's mom's house, it's up to Ms. Sanchez's mom to decide who she wants there. For so long as the victim is allowed to reside there, Ms. Sanchez is not allowed to go back. But if mom, hold on, if mom puts him out and PTR can confirm he's not living there, Ms. Sanchez can go back if that's what her mom wants as well. Yes, ma'am?
Yes, Your Honor. I actually spoke with the officer who arrested me last night. What's on the affidavit is not correct. That is actually his house. So, and I have placed a motion for me to go. I will no longer reside at 2501 Weddington Green Court.
Okay, I appreciate that information. If that info, the way it was written, that was wrong, it's not your mom's house and you don't want to be there anymore, that's even easier. We'll just say no return. Okay? All right. Thank you for that info. Do you need a public defender?
Yes.
PD will be provisionally appointed, and the court will also add no weapons, firearms, or illegal substances. Your next court date will be on demand. That means they'll let you know.
Thank you, ma'am.
You're welcome.
Your Honor, the conditions were only
No return,
contact and do not return.
and no weapons, firearms, and no illegal substances. Yeah. Okay. Well, because at first what I read, all I know is what's in the affidavit. It said it was her mother's house. So I was like, okay, well, I'm not gonna tell her mother who gets to live with her. But she told me it's not her mother's house, it's his house, so Ms. Sanchez cannot go back to that house. Yeah. Natalie Tapia? Good afternoon, please say your name. Thank you. Ms. Tapia, you were arrested for domestic violence battery. I read the affidavit and there is probable cause. PTR, any history?
Yes, Your Honor. She has no prior history. The charge does qualify for a bond with PTR, and I believe the victim is here
Thank
in
you.
the courtroom.
Ms. Tapia, I read this affidavit pretty carefully. I'm gonna set your bond at $500 with pretrial release. You do qualify for PTR with a bond. For the time being, I'm not gonna allow you to have contact with the listed victim. You're also not allowed to possess or consume any alcohol, and you cannot go back to the address where this alleged crime occurred. You can go back one time with law enforcement if you have personal belongings there, which I would imagine that you do, but you can go get like your clothes and what you need for work. I'm not making a decision as to who stays with the kids. I'm not a divorce judge. But as long as you two are not in each other's immediate presence, you can arrange what you want to do with your mutual kids through a family member or your lawyers. That's fine. Do you need a public defender?
Yes.
PD will be appointed. Did I say no weapons or firearms?
No contact, no.
No contact, one-time assist, no weapons or firearms, and no alcohol. And I'm sorry, do you need a public defender?
Yes.
PD will be appointed provisionally, and your next court date will be on demand. That means they haven't scheduled it yet.
Okay,
Thank you. Sure.
So no contact and no returning back to my residence until this case is open?
It's until another judge changes it. So it could get changed in the middle of the case, or it could just go away altogether once the case is closed. I just don't know what's gonna happen first.
Oh,
All right, you're welcome. And Noemi Verdejo Miguense? Hello, please say your name.
Naomi Verdejo Miguenes.
Miguenes. Oh, they spelled it wrong. They put S-E, not E-S. Gotcha. So Ms. Verdejo, you were arrested. It looks like you've got two different booking reports. The first one is petty theft. The second one is petty theft and resisting without violence. Actually, it's petty theft subsequent, which means at least one prior to that. They're different categories, but they're both involving Home Depot, and there is probable cause for both.
Can I say something? Because they, first of all, it say that, but in my paper, it only said petty theft.
That's fine. It'll end up depending on how they charge it. This is just dealing with the reason why you're in jail. Okay? PTR, any other history?
Your Honor, I don't have her history in front of me. However, I know she does not qualify.
Okay, that's what I was gonna ask, because this was a reset, and I didn't have a PTR sheet attached to it. All right, State, do you have any information, since I don't have any history?
If I could have one moment, Your Honor.
Sure.
See what, if anything pops up.
My manager had a little bit of confusion with that case. She thought that it should have been set as a progressive warrant due to what she read on the affidavit.
Okay, I'll look it up and
We're not sure
benchmark.
exactly what's going on with that.
Let me see what it says in here. Why does it come up with, oh, because it's probably M-I-G-U-E-N, and they have it spelled wrong. I'm gonna spell it wrong just to see if it comes up that way. No, it doesn't, okay.
Your Honor, they have it as M-I-G-U-E-N-E-S. It was a reset from when we were closed.
It's not even coming up. Anyway,
No case number?
no, it's fine. State?
Your Honor, I do have several priors from Osceola County coming back, and they include 2017 possession of cocaine, 2018 petty theft, possession of anti-shoplifting device, 2018 grand theft in the third degree, 2018 petty theft, possession of cocaine, possession of drug paraphernalia, That was a felony petty theft with 2 or more prior convictions.
Hold on.
In 2018, 2 more felony petty thefts, a grand theft in the 3rd degree, possession of anti-shoplifting device, another felony petty theft. In 2019, felony petty theft, trespass in an occupied structure, grand theft in the 3rd degree, and another grand theft in the 3rd degree.
Yeah, I saw those when I ran benchmark just now as well. Yes, ma'am, what did you want to say?
I know I've been doing that, but for 3 years, after 2019, I will be not get in trouble or nothing. I would like to see if you could reinstate my bond, and
I'm gonna give you a bond. I have to give you a bond, so I don't know what you mean about reinstate your bond. You have bonds.
I have bonds?
According to this paperwork, you do. I don't see a warrant. Where do you see a warrant?
When I went to do the re-IA paperwork, my manager looked at it because I had some confusion. She said that it should have been set as an arrest.
But there's no warrant.
I'm not sure. She's the criminal manager, and according to the paperwork, she was to be re-IA. So that mean I have a bond?
Ma'am, hold on. Let me try and figure it out.
I'm so sorry. I'm not sure why she was reset. It was not indicated in the order.
I don't know if this is true. I don't know, maybe if PTR can fill us in. The note says reset 24 hours of release. That usually means there's a medical hold, there's a mental health hold, there's something going on. I don't know. Judge Whitehead saw her on the 28th. She was arrested on the 27th. Does the public defender happen to know where Ms. Verdejo has been since the 27th? Does the jail know where she's been since the 27th?
I was in medical. They never bring me to court.
That's what my note indicates. That's what I deduced based on what it said. So just bring her to IAs within 24 hours of her release from medical. That's normally what we see. I don't see a warrant in here. This looks like it was an IA incident to a police arrest, not a warrant arrest. If there's a warrant, then the state's gonna have to produce it at some point, but I don't see it. This is based on, the paperwork that I have. I don't know how else to explain it.
Your Honor, it's, she has an active warrant out of Puerto Rico. Maybe,
Yeah, that I saw.
maybe there was a confusion.
Yeah, there's a warrant out of Puerto Rico.
But they don't want me. It's been a long time ago.
Okay, well, but I'm just saying, that's the only warrant that is even recorded in here. So, can you what?
Can I qualify with PTR?
Absolutely not. No. Bond in 22 MM 2202 is going to be set at $1,000. No return to any Home Depot. And bond in 22 MM 2203 is going to be set at $1,500, count one, and $100, count two. No return to any Home Depot. Do you need a public defender, Ms. Verdejo?
Yes, ma'am.
PD will be appointed. Your next court date will be on demand.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. And that's all we have. Did we miss anybody over there at the jail? Thank you for your time. My understanding is Judge Arendis is doing IAs tomorrow because it's a court holiday and she's the duty judge. So you guys will probably see her tomorrow.
Your Honor, do you know if court will be at 1 or at 11?
I don't know, but the clerk will find out. I'm gonna guess, but look for emails. I'm gonna guess it's gonna be at 11 because it's gonna be on the e-duty schedule.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you. Have a good day. Not yet.
Your Honor,